Hello all, good morning. This video is about some documents which a company is mandatorily required to have. The name of the document is Memorandum of Association and Articles of Association. Actually, there are various documents which a company requires or which a company should have. Some of these documents are required for formation of the company, which proves its existence. It's important because company is an organization. They prescribe, they tells the rules and regulations with which company is going to work. They describe power of the company. Some documents companies required to proceed with some activity, and some documents are formed or you can say created and filed with Government of India or with regulatory authorities. So companies required to have various documents, different kind of documents. Out of those documents, some documents are general in nature which every company should have. Each and every company should possess and form. These documents we are going to study. 3 documents which are of utmost importance for every person when he or she is going to learn something about company formation of company form of business organization. The 3 documents are Memorandum of Association, Articles of Association and Prospectus. These 3 documents are very important. So we'll start with Memorandum of Association, and each document I will cover each document in a separate video so that you can easily learn and understand what these documents are about and what's the importance of these documents. Today let's start with Memorandum of Association. It's an important document, and always remember that these are special kind of documents, general in the sense that every company should have them, but special in the sense that every company must have them. It is not a common document which can be shared by each and every company. So whether it's a company, each company should have memorandum. For example, we have done that one holding company is there, and the holding company may have n number of subsidiaries. Let's say S1, S2, S3. Maybe they belong to same group of companies, but these documents, but each of them should have their own memorandum, should have their own articles of association, and even prospectus. So these documents are general in the sense that every company should have them, but are very special that without this document companies cannot work, or even you cannot form such companies, these companies. During incorporation of company, memorandum and articles are drafted, and they are memorandum articles are drafted and they submitted to Government of India. The officer in charge for that submission is ROC, or the Registrar of Companies. So these documents are very important. So that's why we are going to study and discuss them separately. First is Memorandum of Association. Now, Memorandum of Association is basic document. It is also known as charter of the company. Why charter? It is known as charter of the company because it defines power of the company. It defines powers which a company will have. It defines scope of these powers. What scope? That what company can do and what it cannot do. That scope of power of a company is defined by this Memorandum of Association. It is a written document. It's a document. That's why it is a document. It should be written in form. A company cannot form a memorandum orally. It's a written document, properly drafted, printed, and should be kept at registered office of the company. Should be there present at website of the company. Should be submitted to Registrar of Companies. And it is a public document also. See, Memorandum of Association defines powers of a company. Powers mean what power can company have? Company is an artificial person. It is formed for the sole purpose of doing business. No purpose is there apart from doing business. So what power a company can have, what power an organization can have, the power, only power or the rights and liabilities of organization are related to this business, what is that company is going to conduct. So memorandum of association contains each and every clause or things which are useful for conducting this business. It defines the boundaries beyond which a company cannot go. It defines the rules and regulations with which company can transact a business. It defines what kind of business company can transact. It defines the name with which a company can transact its business. So memorandum is important, very important. So let's now start what memorandum of association is. It's a document. In simplest form, it's a document. In exhaustive form, it's a document which comprises of various elements which defines what a company as an organization is. So let's start. See, memorandum of association, in short form it is known as MOA, is a document which set out the constitution of the company and is therefore the foundation on which the structure of the company is built. It defines the scope of company's activities and the relations with outside world. This is very important. See, company's activities are defined by memorandum. What a company can do, how a company can pursue its objectives. And it also defines the relations with outside world. That is, company is an organization which is going to work in an environment. It cannot work in isolation. So environment, again there can be two type of environment, internal and external. What relation an organization shares with external environment, that relation is defined, or you can say defined by memorandum of association. In that case, memorandum of association is an important document. Section 256 of Companies Act 2013 defines memorandum means memorandum of association of company as originally framed and altered from time to time in pursuance of any previous company law or this act. Important point to take from this definition is, see, memorandum is memorandum of association of company as originally framed and altered from time to time. It can be altered. Any document can be altered. So memorandum being a document can be altered. Altered means changed as per the requirement of a particular event or as per the requirement of a scenario or to compromise with conditions of environment. Company can alter, company can change its memorandum. Let's take an example why company need to change its memorandum. Let's assume you formed a company known as Y Private Limited. Okay. After some time, business of company was flourishing, and you realize that now you cannot work under private limited organization. You want to go to public. You want to form that company into public company. For that, first initial step or for initial thing that will come to your mind is you have to remove the word private from the name of the company, because public limited company should not have the word private in its name. Now, while formation of the company as Y Private Limited, you must have drafted memorandum of this company. In that memorandum, what name will be there? That will be Y Private Limited. Now, as per the latest changes, your company is going to be converted into a public company. In that case, the word private should be removed from name of the company. Now, there is a need to draft a complete new memorandum, or what you can do, you can change the previous drafted memorandum. You can remove the word private from name of the company and new name will be there, that is Y Limited. So there are situations where Members of the company, or you can say promoters of the company, people who form the company, are required to alter the memorandum. That's why memorandum is considered an alterable document. It should be alterable. Otherwise, it will become very difficult for company to function. Now, Section 4 of the Act specifies the contents of important document, which is charter of the company. The memorandum of association of a company contains objects to pursue which the company is formed. It not only shows the object of formation but also determines scope of its operations beyond which the actions cannot go. A company cannot surpass its memorandum, its powers. It cannot surpass its powers. So there is a form of memorandum of association. I will show you the form afterwards. In Companies Act, some tables are mentioned. In Companies Act 2013, at the end of the act, you will see annexures. In that annexures, tables are mentioned. Table A, Table B, Table C, and Table D, and Table E respectively. Table goes till J. But for memorandum, A, B, C, D, E is applicable. Now this particular table is actually not a table, it's a format. Okay, so it's a format, it's not even form, it's a format of memorandum of association. What company can do, company can draft its memorandum on its own from scratch, or it can pick up a table, or a format given in that particular table and can use it as memorandum of association of that particular company. So it's a prescribed format which a company can adopt. But each table is applicable to a peculiar company only, or a peculiar kind of company, or a specific kind of company, you can say. For example, table A is applicable in a company limited by shares only. Table B is applicable for company limited by guarantee not having share capital. Table C is applicable to company limited by guarantee having share capital. Table D is applicable to unlimited companies not having share capital, and table E is applicable to unlimited companies having share capital. These five types of company you can form, and there is a separate or a different table A applicable to this company which it can adopt. I think it's not a difficult thing to remember this format of table, but you should know what company can adopt which kind of table or which table. Next, the contents of memorandum. In general, these are the 6 clauses which you will find in memorandum of each and every company. We will discuss these one by one. In short form, these clauses are as follows: name clause, situation clause, object clause, liability clause, capital clause, and one is nominee clause. We call it nominee clause. I am going to call it nominee clause. Okay, one is nominee clause. Next, so what does this clause define? See, as the name indicates, this clause has the same function. Name clause will define the name of the company, with which name company is registered. Situation clause will define the registered office of the company. It will state the state in which registered office of the company is situated. For example, if your company is situated in Lucknow, memorandum should have the following point, that registered office of the company is situated in the state of Uttar Pradesh. It is not necessary that you write the complete address. Writing state will suffice. Next, object clause. Object is purpose for which the company is formed. The business company is going to carry on after its formation. So the object clause for which company is proposed to be incorporated, and any matter considered necessary is furtherance thereof. Liability clause. Liability of members of the company, whether the liability is unlimited or limited, that should be. Capital clause. What's the company capital of the company? What is the authorized share capital of the company? If the company has guarantee, then what's the capital people are going to contribute, like that wise. And one is nominee clause. This is a special clause which will be there only in OPC, one person company. If you remember, then when discussing OPC, we have studied that in OPC, one person should appoint a nominee also, who in case or situation of death of that one person should take over the company. So the name of that nominee who is going to take place of one person or the single person who has formed the company in the event of his death, the name of that nominee should be there in nominee clause of one person company. So let's discuss these clauses one by one in detail. First is name clause. A company being a separate legal entity must have a name of its own to establish its separate identity. The name of company is symbol of independent corporate existence. The first clause in memorandum association states the name by which company is to be known. A company may adopt as any suitable name. The object is to prevent the use of name likely to mislead the public. For example, a company is not allowed to use a name which is prohibited under Emblem and Names Prevention of Proper Use Act 1950 or suggestive of any connection with government or state of patronage where there is one. This paragraph indicates that the name should not be of a nature that general public is misled by it. For example, you take let's take an example that you've written name like in your company name India word is there. So India, when you use the word India, a general public may think that this India, this means a company is related to government of India, or you write government, Indian government company like India government, India company like something like that. So people may think that this is related to government of India company or government of India having some hold on this company. So it is not allowed. You should not use such kind of names. Next is situation clause. The name of the state in which registered office of the company is to be situated must be given in memorandum, but the exact address of registered office is not required to be stated therein. It is not required, but if company has decided an exact address, then it can also provide that address also. Within 15 days of incorporation and all times thereafter, company must have registered office to which all communication notice may be sent. Company must also furnish registrar verification register within a period of 30 days incorporation in such manner prescribed. Okay. Next is object clause. The third compulsory clause in memorandum set out the object for which the company has been formed. Object means businesses. In general layman language, it means business or the transaction which a company is going to carry out. All companies must state in memorandum the objects for which company is proposed to be incorporated and any matter considered necessary in furtherance thereof. This means sometimes, see, for accomplishing a particular object, you just cannot accomplish a particular object without doing some things which are necessary to accomplish that object. For example, a company wants to start a real estate business. Okay, development of real estate is a business. Every company will lay down township and something like that. See, this is a normal business. Maybe this is the main objective of the company. But for this main objective, company should purchase land. If company cannot purchase land, then how a company can develop real estate business? Or the object clause of the company should have the clause that company can take land on lease. Even that will not work, but yeah, it can happen that company has taken land a particular piece of land on lease, and on that particular land, leased land, company is going to develop real estate. So main object is this, but there are objects which are incidental or ancillary to main object. So these objects should also be stated in object clause of that company. Always remember, you cannot surpass your object clause. If a real estate company has written something like that, and if it is not mentioned in its memorandum that company can purchase land, then the company is prohibited from doing any contract for purchasing land. Even if it commits a contract of purchasing land, that contract will be considered as void if that power or that object is not given under object clause of memorandum of association. The object clause is of great importance because it determines the purpose and capacity of the company. It indicates the purpose for which company has been set up and actual capability beside the sphere of activities. The purpose of object clause is to enable the person dealing with company and its non-permitted range of activities. The act beyond this ambit is scope, are ultra vires and hence void. This is what I And this is what for I gave this example of land. Even the entire body of shareholders cannot ratify such acts. So we have already studied the word ratify. Let's see how many of you can see what this can explain what this statement means. So do one thing, try to write in comment what you understand by this statement, that even the entire body of shareholders cannot ratify such acts. After in next video we will discuss it. Liability clause. This clause states the liability of members of the company, whether limited or unlimited. Also state in case of company limited by shares that liability of members is limited to amount unpaid if any on the shares held by them, and in case of company limited by guarantee, amount up to which each member undertakes to contribute to assets of the company even being wound up, and to cost charge expensive winding up. This we already discussed in detail when we were doing types of companies. It's almost that. Next is capital clause. It is fifth compulsory clause which must state the amount of capital with which the company is to be registered. The shares into which the company is divided to must be fixed value, which is commonly known as nominal value of shares. The capital is variously described as nominal, authorized or registered. Out of issued capital, total amount actually subscribed or agreed to be subscribed is known as subscribed capital. This subscribed capital again may be wholly paid or partly paid. This thing we will discuss again when we will start with share capital topics. This I will explain in detail again because we need to study this. Next is declaration for subscription. See, declaration of subscription is when people form a company, the people which conceive the idea of formation of company are known as promoters of company. So these promoters, what they also do, they invest in company. Investing means they invest in first shares of the company. The initial capital which a company requires, these promoters undertake to invest or they purchase those shares. So the person who form a company or the person who subscribe to shares of the company for the first time are known as subscriber to memorandum. In case of OPC, minimum subscriber to memorandum or minimum or maximum you need is 1. In case of private company, minimum you need is 2. That is the number of members only. In case of public company, the minimum you need is 7 and the maximum it can be 200 or something, even more than that. Now, so what the subscription clause will have name of the people who subscribe to memorandum or who initially or from the day since the day first of the company are connected with the company. Those people are known as subscribers to memorandum, or they are also known as first shareholders of the company or even first members of the company. So always remember that subscriber to memorandum are first shareholders of the company. This statement in itself will explain what subscriber to memorandum is all about. The subscriber to memorandum declare, we several persons whose name and address subscribed below are desirous of being formed into a company in persons of this memorandum association, and we respectively agree to take the number of shares in capital of the company set opposite our respective names. Then follow the names, address, description, occupation of subscriber, the number of shares each subscriber has agreed to take, and their signature attested by witness. The statutory requirement regarding subscription memorandum are that each subscriber must take at least 1 share, and each subscriber must write opposite his name the number of shares which he agrees to take. That's all. I think nominee clause is left. Nominee clause, nothing. It will contain the name of the person who act as nominee in case of death of one person in case of OPC. So that's all about memorandum of association. It's not more than this. Simple document which will contain all these clauses. For example, I will like to show you memorandum of some companies. So let's see first. This is Infosys Limited. We all have heard about this company, and this is memorandum of Infosys Limited. Now, as you can see, while scrolling down, see here, from here the memorandum of Infosys starts. Let me zoom it little bit. Yeah, from here the memorandum of Infosys starts. This is corporate identification number of Infosys. With this number you can find the company online, and name of the company is Infosys Technologies Limited. We have heard this company. Now this is certificate of incorporation. This is Companies Act 1956. It was because the this company was found around 1980s or something, in 1980s. So this is old memorandum. I don't have the new memorandum as per 2013. So it is as per 1956. Almost content were almost same. See, first clause, that was name clause. If you remember, the name of the company is Infosys Limited. What does this shows? This shows that company is a public limited company with liability of members as limited. It's a public company. The registered office of the company will be situated in the state of Karnataka. Only name of state is written, not exact address is written. The object of the company for which company is established. Now these are the objects. Main objects, anything you can write. Object incidental or ancillary to attainment of main objects you can write. So see, if you look, then if you read, if you try to go through the memorandum, you will find that maybe this company have around 50 objects. See, other objects are also there. Now, 36 objects are there. That means company can carry on any of these businesses. Next, the liability of company or members is limited. This is liability clause. That which state whether the liability of members is limited or not limited or unlimited. So here the liability of members is limited. Next is capital clause, which states the authorized share capital of the company. So the authorized share capital of the company is rupees 2,400 crore only, or you can say 2,400 crores, which is divided into 480 crore shares of 5 rupees each. This is how you have to write the authorized capital clause in memorandum of association. Next is subscriber clause. They have not given a particular heading for that clause, but this is how subscriber clause looks like. It has name of subscribers. See, Narayan Murthy, son of you have heard this name, Narayan Murthy, and he has taken one equity share, only one. That time while subscribing to memorandum he purchased only one equity share. Srinivasa Raghavan, this name you must have also heard. Gopal Krishnan, S. Gopal Krishnan, Nandan Mohan Nilekani, this name you must have also heard. So these are the 4 members which floated or incorporated this company, and how many equity shares they have taken? Only one equity share they have taken. And this is the name of the person who helped them in floating, or you can say he acted as a evidence, or you can say witness. Not witness, not evidence, witness in front of whom these people signed the memorandum, and they have taken one share each. And now the company is formed on 15th day of August 1981. Okay. Next is, I think, it is articles of the company. So we have not studied article. We will discuss this afterward. One more memorandum I'll like to show you, that is memorandum of Reliance Power. Again, Reliance Power, almost all of you may have heard the company. It's a good corporation, and very known corporation. I will not say good or bad, but it's a known corporation. So it's index. They have also given index in this. This is corporation certification. This is incorporation certificate, and we'll discuss what certificate of incorporation is. But let's see from where its memorandum starts. Big document. Now this is memorandum of association of Reliance Power Limited, and you will see that same format is being followed, because what companies do, they adopt the formats we discussed already. So the name clause, name of the company Reliance Power Limited. Situation clause, in the state of Maharashtra. May I zoom a little bit? Reliance Power Limited, registered office of the state of Maharashtra. Objects, again, objects of the company, other objects, main object, ancillary objects. Every object is there in this company. Have 67, sorry, okay, 100, more than 100 objects. Yeah, see, this company has more than have exactly 115 objects. See the type or the variety of business this company can do. Then liability clause, the liability of members is limited. Authorized share capital clause, authorized share capital is rupees 16,000 crore only, which is divided into 1,100 crore shares of 10 rupees each, and 500 crore shares of preference shares of 10 rupees each. You know the two kind of shares are there. We have to discuss this also again in detail. We'll discuss when come to that particular topic. Now this is subscriber clause. How many subscribers there? Only 2 subscribers. Maybe it was formed as a private limited company. Yeah, that time, and then it was converted into public limited company. So 2 subscribers there, Shri Rohit C. Shah and Shri Subhash Chandra Gupta. 100 shares they have taken, and this is name of the person who acted as a witness. Simple. So this was memorandum of Reliance Power Limited. I hope now this is memorandum is clear to all of you. Please go through this video and try to search memorandum of other companies on internet. They are public documents. They are easily available. Public documents means a document which is available in public domain. You can find it, you can download it, and download 1 or 2 memorandum of different companies. Try to see what are the different clauses that company has written or mentioned under its memorandum, so you will get a more clear picture of the document. We'll wrap up this video right now. It's a small video, and please try to look or go for different memorandum of other companies also. You will get a clear picture of the topic. Good evening. Stay happy, stay blessed, stay safe, stay healthy.